Welcome to English Tide. Let's start with a hard truth that most influencers are too afraid to tell you. You are currently losing money, respect, and opportunities because of your silence. Think about the last time you were in a high-stakes meeting or a social gathering in New York, London, or Sydney. You understood every word being said. You had a brilliant idea, a counterpoint, or a solution. But when it was your turn to speak, your throat tightened. Your jaw locked. Your brain went completely blank. You walked away feeling like a fraud. You aren't a beginner, yet you sounded like one. This is the silent barrier, and it is a career killer. If you do not address this today, you will spend your entire life being the smartest person in the room that nobody actually hears. You are being passed over for promotions and connections not because of your lack of intelligence, but because your mouth is physically untrained. In this masterclass, I am going to give you the physical blueprint to transform from a student into a powerful communicator. Do not click away, because the exercise we start in exactly 3 minutes is the only thing standing between you and the fluency you deserve. Why do you freeze? It is not because you need more grammar. It is not because your vocabulary is small. It is because you are treating a physical problem with a mental solution. English is not a subject you study. It is a coordinated physical movement of your lips, tongue, and jaw. Think of it this way: you can spend 10 years reading books about how to swim. You can memorize the exact angle of the stroke and the science of buoyancy. But the moment you jump into the deep end of a pool, you will sink. Why? Because your muscles have no memory of the movement. Most Level 3 learners are mental giants but physical infants. Your native language has spent decades training specific muscles in your face. English requires a completely different set of movements, rhythms, and airflows. When you try to speak English with your native mouth muscles, you sound strained, unnatural, and hesitant. To speak like a native in the US or Canada, we must retrain your muscular system from the ground up. Before we dive into the advanced drills, we must prepare your instrument. Professional broadcasters and actors in Hollywood do not walk onto a set cold. They activate their muscles first. If your jaw is tight, your English will sound flat. If your tongue is sluggish, your words will blur together. For the next 60 seconds, we are going to perform a deep tissue activation. First, I want you to drop your jaw as low as it can go without pain and hold it for 5 seconds. Now, move your jaw slowly from left to right. This releases the tension in your masseter muscles, which is where most speaking anxiety is physically stored. Next, press your tongue firmly against the back of your top teeth, then the bottom, then the left cheek, and then the right. You should feel a slight pull. This is not a grammar lesson, this is an athletic warm-up. Your mouth is now primed. In Part 2, we will move into the mirror technique and the first set of Level 3 phonetic drills that will stop your brain from going blank. Stick with me, because the intensity is about to double. Now that your muscles are activated, we move to the most uncomfortable but transformative part of this journey, the mirror technique. Most Level 3 learners fail because they are disconnected from their own voice. They speak into the void, hoping it sounds right. But fluency requires a feedback loop. When you stand in front of a mirror, you aren't just looking at your face. You are training your brain to associate your image with the sound of a confident, fluent speaker. In the United States, professional presence is just as important as the words you choose. If you look nervous, people assume your English is poor. We are going to change that right now. I want you to look yourself directly in the eyes. Do not look at your lips, look at your eyes. We are going to recite a Level 3 affirmation that uses complex dental and labial sounds. Repeat after me, slowly and with total authority. I am deliberately refining my phonetic precision to command respect in every professional interaction. Notice the movement of your jaw on the word deliberately. Feel the air push past your teeth on precision. If your face looks frozen, you aren't moving enough. At Level 3, you must over-articulate until the movement becomes natural. Do this 5 times every morning. You are killing the fear of your own voice, and you are building the face of fluency. Next, we enter the shadowing protocol. This is how the most successful non-native CEOs and diplomats achieve native-level flow. Shadowing is not repeat after me. It is a real-time synchronization. You are trying to live inside my voice. You are mimicking my speed, my pauses, and my emotional stress. Why does this work? Because English, especially in the US and Canada, is a stress-timed language. We don't give every word equal weight. We dance over the small words and land heavily on the important ones. If you give every word the same amount of time, you sound like a textbook, and your audience will tune you out within seconds. By shadowing, you are literally rewiring your brain's rhythmic clock. You are moving from the staccato beat of your native language to the flowing melody of advanced English. Let's put this into practice with a high-stakes professional scenario. Imagine you are in a boardroom. You need to sound decisive. I will say a sentence, and I want you to speak it at the exact same time as me, or just a fraction of a second behind. Focus on the peaks and valleys of my voice. Phrase 1. I've been contemplating a strategic pivot to ensure our long-term viability in the current market. Notice how I squeezed to ensure our into one quick sound, while I stretched out strategic pivot. Let's try phrase 2. To be perfectly frank, I'm concerned that we haven't fully mitigated the logistical hurdles associated with this launch. Feel that flow. You aren't just saying words, you are projecting a persona. If you feel like you're acting, you're doing it right. But don't get too comfortable. In part 3, we are going to dive into the sound cluster secret, the hidden technique that will finally stop you from sounding like a robot and make you sound like you were born in North America. If you think you've made progress now, wait until you see what happens in the next 4 minutes. We have reached the most critical technical phase of this training. This is the secret to linguistic camouflage. Most English learners, even at level 3, sound like robots because they treat every word as an isolated island. They speak word by word, creating a choppy, unnatural rhythm that native speakers in New York or San Francisco find difficult to follow over long periods. Native speakers do not speak in words, we speak in sound clusters. A cluster is a breath unit where 3 to 5 words are fused together into a single phonetic stream. If you want to sound like you belong in a high-level corporate environment in North America, you must stop separating your words. You must learn to delete certain sounds to make room for speed and flow. This isn't lazy speech, it is the sophisticated architecture of the English language. When you master clusters, you stop being an outsider. You start sounding like a local. If you are targeting an audience in the US or Canada, there is one specific sound that defines your fluency, the flap T. In standard American English, when a T or a double T falls between 2 vowel sounds, we do not pronounce it as a sharp T. We flap it, making it sound like a very soft, fast D. Listen carefully. A textbook says water. A native speaker says water. A textbook says better. We say bedder. This small change is the difference between sounding like a student and sounding like an executive. Let's practice some level 3 professional terms using the flap T, repeat after me, focusing on that soft D sound, strategy. Competitive. Articulate. Now, let's combine this with a sound cluster. Instead of saying I have a meeting at 4, we say I have a meeting at 4. Notice how meeting becomes meeting and it connects to the end of the word. This is how you create the North American glide. It's smooth, it's fast, and it projects total confidence. Many teachers tell you that gonna, wanna, and shoulda are only for casual speech. This is incorrect. Even in the highest levels of the US government and corporate boardrooms, these phonetic reductions are used to maintain rhythm. The key is knowing how to use them with level 3 vocabulary. Let's practice a high-level cluster reduction. The phrase I would have told you is almost never spoken as 5 separate words. It is reduced to I woulda told ya. Repeat that with me, I woulda told ya. Now, let's apply it to a professional sentence. I woulda told ya about the shift in the budget, but the data wasn't ready. Notice the flow. By reducing the small, functional words, you allow the content words, like budget and data, to stand out. This is the pulse of English. If you can't hit this pulse, you will always feel like you are struggling to keep up with the conversation. But we are not finished yet. You have the muscles and the technical flow. In the final part of this masterclass, we are going to talk about the pilot of the plane, your brain. I will show you how to combine emotion and movement to ensure you never go blank again. If you think the technical side was powerful, the psychological side will change your life. We have trained the muscles, and we have refined the technical flow. But now we must address the most important element, your mindset. Think of your brain as the pilot and your mouth as the airplane. It doesn't matter how high-tech the engine is if the pilot is paralyzed by fear. This is why you freeze during high-pressure negotiations in New York or London. Your mouth is ready, but your brain is screaming, "What if I sound stupid?" or "What if they notice my accent?" Let me tell you the truth, your mouth cannot speak what your brain does not believe. If you see yourself as a student who is trying to learn, you will always sound hesitant. To reach level 3 fluency, you must perform an identity shift. You are no longer learning English. You are a professional communicator who uses English as a tool of influence. We are going to reprogram your internal software through a technique called emotional acting. By the end of this final 4 minutes, you will not just speak English, you will own it. When you speak with raw emotion, your brain bypasses the fear center that monitors for grammar mistakes. This is why people often speak more fluently when they are excited or passionate. We are going to use this to our advantage. Instead of practicing like a shy student, I want you to practice like an actor preparing for a leading role in a Hollywood drama. Let's take the boardroom phrase from earlier. The data suggests a significant shift in market trends. I want you to say this with 3 distinct emotional layers. First, say it with urgency, as if the company's future depends on it. Now, say it with quiet pride, as if you just discovered a brilliant secret. Finally, say it with total indifference, as if you are bored because the answer is so obvious. Do you feel the difference? Your voice became deeper, your flap T became smoother, and your sound clusters fused naturally. You stopped worrying about correctness and started focusing on connection. This is how you master the boardroom presence required in the US and Canada. We have covered the muscular warm-up, the mirror technique, the shadowing protocol, sound clusters, and now, emotional acting. But knowledge without action is just noise. There are millions of people who will watch this video and go back to their silent lives. They will stay stuck in the silent barrier for another 10 years. But you are different. You are a level 3 speaker because you choose to do what others refuse to do. Your voice is a muscle, and muscles require a daily gym. I am asking for 5 minutes. Not 5 hours, just 5 minutes of focused, physical, emotional training every single day. If you commit to this for the next 30 days, the version of you that currently freezes will disappear. You will speak with a rhythm and authority that commands attention in any room across the globe. The choice is yours. Will you stay a silent genius, or will you become a leader? If you are ready to claim your voice, prove it to yourself right now. Comment below with the phrase, "I will train my mouth every day." Subscribe to English Tide for more high-level training. Your fluency begins the moment your fear ends. I am proud of the progress you've made today. Now, go look in the mirror and start your new life. See you in the next session.